This is an exponent where a is a number greater than 0. The base in the exponent can be a variety of numbers. I'm going to stop right here because these are the exponents I'm going to talk about in this video. What is different about this exponent from the other videos? Well, it has a fraction as an exponent. What does that mean? An exponent means that we need to multiply the base that many times. So let's rewind a sec. Here we have the base is 5 and the exponent is 10. So this means that we are going to multiply 5 10 times. So what does it mean when we have a fraction as the exponent? What does that mean to multiply 4 1/2 times? If we had 4 squared, we would be asking what's 4 times 4. But with 1/2, we are asking the opposite. With 4 to the 1/2, what we are asking is, what multiplied 2 times gives us 4? And that number is going to be 2, right? When we ask, what number multiplied 2 times equals 4? That is the same thing as saying, what is the square root of 4? We write this as a square root. And as we found down here, this is equal to 2. So when we see a 1/2 in the exponent, this is the same as a square root. Note that here, I put the 2 in the index of the radical, but the square root is special. And for some reason, we can leave the 2 off, but only for the square root. This property is often really odd to students, so let's look again at why this works. In another video about properties of exponents, I went over that if we raised an exponent to another power, we multiply those exponents. If you don't understand why, go watch that other video. I explain it there. Okay, so we know we have this rule. So what happens if we raise 4 to the 1/2 to the second power? Using this rule, we know that we should have 4 raised to the 1/2 times 2. Well, we know that 1/2 times 2 is just 1, right? So this is going to be equal to 4 raised to the 1 power, which is just 4. If you need to go through that slower, pause the video and review those steps. So we know that 4 to the 1/2 squared needs to equal 4. What does it mean to have 4 to the 1/2 squared? That squared exponent, that 2, means that everything that is being raised to it will be multiplied twice. So we will have 4 to the 1/2 times 4 to the 1/2. And so these two numbers have to multiply to get 4. Asking what number squared gives me 4 is the same as asking what is the square root of 4. So this right here means that 4 to the 1/2 must be the square root of 4. So what if we had 1/3 instead of 1/2? What does that mean? Again, we know that it needs to fulfill our rule if we raise it to the third power. So using our rule, we know that this is 8 to the 1/3 times 3. 1/3 times 3 is 1, and 8 to the 1 power is just 8. So let's replace that with the 8. So we have that 8 to the 1/3 cubed needs to equal 8. So we have that something cubed needs to equal 8. So what must this be? Well, we know that the opposite of cubing is finding the cubed root. So we put in a cubed root of 8 there. So these two must be equal. So just like the first rule that we wrote down, a to the 1/3 is the cubed root of a. Remember, a here is just a number greater than 0. Let's go over another scenario. This time, let's suppose you have an exponent with 2/3 instead of 1/3. So the difference here is that our numerator is not a 1 anymore. Well, 2/3 can also be written as 2 times 1/3. So let's write it like that. We have this rule we've been talking about that was from another video. So this one is written kind of backwards. We're going to read it right to left. So let's rewrite what we have as this. But wait, this is something to the 1/3. We know how to rewrite this 1/3 from the previous example, right? This 1/3 can be rewritten as a cubed root. And we still have this 6 squared in there. So here we have our rule. Let's log this up here. And here I'm going to write the general notation because our fractions can be anything. So m and n are just any numbers except 0. So that is how we deal with fractions as exponents. Hopefully it makes a bit more sense to you and it becomes easier for you to work with.